Good morning, students. I hope you have understood all the methods of separation: sublimation, distillation, fractional distillation, crystallization, centrifugation, evaporation. You have to do their principal application and procedure in case of chromatography, distillation, sublimation, right? So today we will complete this chapter. So on page 24, the next topic is physical and chemical change. So students, what do we mean by physical change? Right? So physical changes are one in which there is change in the physical property. Physical property, like there is change in the color of a substance, or there is change in the hardness. Some are hard, some are soft, different colors. Then in their rigidity, like solids are rigid. Then in their fluidity, you know, the property to flow, like it is maximum in gas, then liquid, and then solid. Then their physical property like melting point, right? So all these, color, hardness, rigidity, fluidity, melting point, these all are physical properties, right? So if there is change in physical property, that change is known as physical change, right? For example, conversion of ice to water, right? Ice formula H2O, water formula H2O. Ice is what? Solid. You simply heat it, it becomes what? Liquid. So only the state is changed. Here also it is water H2O, and here also it is water H2O. But here it is solid form of water, that is ice, and here it is a liquid form. So only state is changed, so that is a physical change, right? Now second is chemical changes. What are chemical changes? Like in physical change, there is change in physical properties. So in chemical changes, there is what? Change in chemical properties, or there is a chemical reaction, right? So change in the chemical properties or change in chemical reaction. If chemical reaction take place, if there is change in chemical properties, that changes are known as chemical changes. The best example is burning, right? Burning of wood, burning of candle, burning of paper, everything, right? So burning is an example of chemical change, because here the substance undergoes chemical reaction. The chemical properties are changed, right? In physical changes, you can get back the substance. Like ice, you heat water, you freeze ice, so you can get back the substance. But in chemical changes, you cannot, it is a permanent change. You don't get back the original substance. It is a permanent change. Like if we burn a paper, right? After burning, we will get gases, right? Carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, you will get ashes, right? But you cannot get back the paper. It is a which type of change? It is a permanent change. Whereas physical changes are temporary changes. You can get back the original substance, but in chemical changes you don't. So you can mark on page number 24, second para, the properties like color, hardness, rigidity, fluidity, density, melting point, boiling point are physical properties. So any change in physical property is physical change, right? And second is chemical change. Chemical change brings change in the chemical properties of a metal. That is a chemical change. Student, mark this one special example. Burning of a candle. 3 mark question. Burning of a candle. It is both physical and chemical change. How it is a physical change? When we burn candle, right? So the wax melts. So it is what? Solid to liquid. So it is what? It is a physical change. Right? Height is decreased. And it is a chemical change because you get what? The wick, the thread of the wax, it burns. You get gases and you cannot get back the wick. That is which change? Chemical change. So burning of candle is both. It is a physical change as well as chemical change. It is a special case. Right, students? Now we will start on page number 25. Next topic, that little bit we have started earlier also. What are the types of pure substance? Like students, I have told you earlier, pure substance which are made up of single type of or same type of particles. There are 2 types, elements and compounds, right? So first we will do elements. What are elements? They are the basic form of matter, smallest form which cannot be broken down. Element, basic form of matter, of which matter is made up of, but it cannot be broken down further, right? This is known as elements, right? And in elements are further subdivided, categorized as metals and non-metals. Students, in class 10th you will be doing in detail. The whole chapter is based on metals and non-metals in class 10. Here you will be doing only physical properties, right? You will be doing only physical properties. No need to go in detail. Physical properties, right? Like metals, you all know metals have a shiny luster. They have a shine like gold. They have a metallic luster, gold, right? They are good conductor of heat and electricity. That is why they are used in electrical gadgets. The heater, the coil or fan or motor is made up of what? It is made up of metal because they are good conductor of heat and electricity. The cooking utensils are made aluminium, iron. They are made up of metals because they are good conductor of heat. Most of the metals, they are ductile. What is ductile? That is, you can convert them into thin wires, right? Silver, gold, that is why copper, aluminium, that is why they used in electrical wires, right? Then fourth, most of them are malleable. Malleable means you can hammer them into thin sheets. Malleable. That is why they are used in jewelries, they are used in cooking utensils, because you can beat them, you can convert them into thin sheets according to the design requirements. Then most of the metals are sonorous. Sonorous means that when we hit them, they produce ringing vibration. Just say for example, this is a desk. No ringing vibration, only sound is produced. That's it. But when we hit any metal, it produces ringing vibration. That is why they are used in making bells. They are used in making bells, or they are used in musical instruments. They are used in musical instruments. Guitar, sitar, the chord, that is made up of metal, because when you strike them, they produce musical notes. So that was physical properties, and most of the metals, they are solid in state. Most of the metals are solid, most, or you can say all, they are in solid state. One exception you have to do, all are solid except, I hope you know this, one exception of metal which is not in solid state, that is mercury. In natural condition, it occur in which state? It occur in liquid state. So it is 1 mark question. Name the only metal which occur in liquid state. So that is mercury. Right? Now physical properties of non-metals. Now non-metals, you just do the reverse of all the metals. Like metals are lustrous, non-metals are dull. Metals are good conductor of heat and electricity, non-metals are bad conductor. That is why they are used in the covering of the wires. They are non-metals are non-ductile, they cannot be drawn into wires. They are non-malleable, they are brittle, means when you hit them, when you beat them, they are not changed into sheets, they are broken into pieces. They are non-sonorous and they occur in solid state, liquid state and gaseous state. All the 3 states they occur. Right students? So on page 25 left side, physical properties have been mentioned. This page, these and these are physical properties, or you have to do all these physical properties of metals and physical properties of non-metals. This is the exception. Mercury is the only metal that is liquid at room temperature. Right students? And then there is a term metalloids. What are metalloids? Which share the properties of metals and non-metals. Okay? They have intermediate properties of metals and non-metals. They are known as metalloids. You might have heard also boron, the most common, silicon and germanium. You have to learn two examples of each. Right? And then the next part I have explained little bit earlier also, that is compound. Mixture I have explained you. Then the next is, or you can say last part of the chapter is compound. Same page 25. What are compounds? Compound is a substance which is made up of 2 or more elements combined in a fixed ratio such that they lose their properties, and can't be obtained by any physical process, cannot be broken, or you cannot get back the constituents by physical process. I will explain you with the example. The most common example is, you all know, that is water. And always remember, all the compounds have fixed formula. If any substance has formula, it means it is a compound. Right? So 2 or more elements combined in fixed ratio such that they lose their properties and cannot be broken down into its constituent by physical process. Example is water. Like you know the formula water is H2O. It means water consists of hydrogen and oxygen. Atomic mass of hydrogen is 1. How many atoms are there? 2. Ratio. Oxygen का atomic mass is 16. 2:16. Simplest ratio 1:8. Right? Now this topic I will explain in detail in the next chapter. So hydrogen ka mass is fixed, that is 1. How many atoms of hydrogen are there? There are 2. So 1 into 2. Oxygen ka mass is fixed, that is 16. So when you take out the simplest ratio, it is 1:8. Now whenever hydrogen and oxygen mix in, react in fixed ratio, mix and react in fixed ratio, that is 1:8, fixed ratio 1:8, hydrogen and oxygen, you will always get water. Little bit ratio is changed, you will not get water. Even if the ratio changes in fraction, you will not get water. Right? So water is formed when hydrogen and oxygen combine in ratio 1:8, such that they lose their property. Like water is made up of hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen की one property is it burns in fire. It burns. Oxygen की property तो you all know, it supports burning. Now they both have different property. Hydrogen burns, oxygen supports burning. But when we combine both, they lose their property. It means what you have obtained? Water. Water neither burns nor it support burning. It does what? It extinguishes. It stops fire. It burns, it supports burning, but the water which is formed from hydrogen oxygen, it extinguishes, it stops fire. Totally different property. And if you want to get back hydrogen and oxygen from water, you cannot apply any physical process. Special chemical methods are applicable to obtain back the components. So that was compounds. I am repeating, when two or more elements combine in a fixed ratio such that they lose property and cannot be obtained, the constituents cannot be obtained by any simple physical process, that is known as compound. So student, that is the complete definition which you will be writing in your exam in proper wording form. So by this your chapter is complete. On page 26 there is difference between mixture and compound. Students, you have to do that for examination point of view. So by this your chapter is complete, right? So on page 28 and 29, most of the questions are in MCQ form. Most of the questions are in MCQ form, which you will be doing at home yourself. Only few theoretical questions are there. The PDF I have sent along with this lecture. Only question number 1 I will discuss with you, and you can write the answers on your book itself. Like, how can we separate sodium chloride, that is salt, from its solution? The method is evaporation. The method is evaporation. How to obtain ammonium chloride from salt and ammonium chloride? So you know ammonium chloride sublimes. The method is sublimation. Any mixture is given, so you just check which component you know. अब इस mixture में you know ammonium chloride, so method is sublimation. Small pieces of metal in engine oil, filtration. Different pigments from extract of flower petal, different pigments, color, chromatography. Butter from curd, you all know, very easy, I had shown in the lab also, centrifugation. Oil from water, separating funnel. Tea leaves from tea, every day you observe this, that is sieving done through tea strainer. Iron pins from sand, very simple, easy magnetic separation method. Wheat from husk, winnowing. Fine mud particles suspended in water. So it has series of methods. Loading, you know, loading में we add alum fitkari in the mixture. The mud particles will settle down. Sedimentation. Then we will decant, we will pour it into another beaker. So mud and water is separated. And then filtration also, you can clearly separate this. So rest, there are 2-3 questions left theoretical, and I have sent you the PDF along with this lecture. I hope you have understood this chapter. Thank you students. Take care. Stay safe.